Hey guys, how is everyone? It is Friday. I don't know what's going on with my shirt here. It's like crooked. But I'm Lauren Majewski, and I am going to talk to you guys today a little bit about forming and doing Follow-Up Friday. But I'm going to wait just a minute or two until a few more people pop on. I see just a couple right now. You guys feel free to say hi and let me know who you are, who's watching. Hopefully I can see the comments, because I know in some of the other ones they were saying that they couldn't see them. Hopefully I can. All right, we're getting a few more people. Hey, girl. Happy Friday. I know Carl was doing his thing. Hey, Ashley, how are you? Hey, Allie. All right, so we're getting a few more people. Hey, Candace. Thanks, you guys, for popping on. I think what I'm going to do, since we've got quite a few people, is I'll just get rolling, and then hopefully as I go along, if you guys have questions for me, then you can post them over there, because I can see everybody talking. But so basically what I wanted to talk about today, I think that I've watched all the videos, and if you have not, I really think you should go back and take some time to watch them. I think Jen did an excellent job kicking off this invite training for you guys. A lot of the things that I wanted to talk about, she covered, and it has a lot to do with how you are talking to people, and she explains where to find them, how she's finding them, and a lot of the things that I think are essential when it comes to actually inviting someone. And for me personally, how I invite someone is that I'm very much like everything that everyone else has said. It's very hard. I think one of the things I hear a lot from my coaches, and sometimes have even felt this way myself, is that if you feel like you're going to be pushing a sale on someone, or if you feel like you're being salesy or pushy, then you probably do sound like that, or it's because you haven't done a very good job yet of building that relationship with someone where you feel comfortable enough to actually just throw it out there and say, hey girl, I'm doing this group and I would love to have you be a part of it. Are you interested? It's that simple. And I think the biggest thing is to not take it personally when somebody says no. But if you are actually building that relationship with someone, and you've done a good job of getting to know them, you know that you have things in common, and you feel like you've built this friendship, then it shouldn't feel weird or spammy or salesy or pushy for you to just invite them to come to be a part of something or do something with you. I think that's the biggest thing, is that you have to be doing these things yourself, first of all, so that when you're asking them to do it with you, they will actually be doing it with you. And then second is just to be their friend. That's what we all want, right? Jen talked about finding your avatar, and that is important, of knowing who you are trying to attract to you and who you want to be inviting to your things. You are not this broad person, like I say this all the time. I'm not trying to attract guy truck drivers because I don't know how to relate to them. Can I help them? Probably. But is that really who I see myself spending, 5 days off in the mountains with, hanging out? No, it's not. So you really want to think about who your tribe is and who you're trying to attract to you. And once you find out who that person is, it's getting to know them, figuring out who they are, and building that friendship. And forming is one of the best ways to do that. So forming basically just stands for, family, occupation, recreation, and then you actually put things out there to them. You send them that message, right? So when you first go out and you meet somebody, you use, let's say, we'll just stick to what you guys have been taught so far in this training, and you use what Jen taught you, and you go out and you use those hashtags, and you're finding people that you feel are relatable to you. You go to their page and you're checking out what they're about. So maybe you shoot them a little message that just says, hey girl, I noticed that you are also interested in X, Y, and Z. I found your page because of blank. And then you ask them a question about maybe something that you saw. So let's say if you two connected because of a recipe that you saw, maybe you ask her about that recipe. Did you make that yourself? I would love to have, the ingredients. Or maybe it was just a picture she posted about something she ate. Ask her questions about the ingredients. You have to just get, to know them. Or maybe for me, one of the things that I find is that a lot of people love it when I post pictures of my daughter or we're doing things together. So I look for other moms that are, have little girls that are my age. And I also look for things that we have in common besides just our daughters. So if I'm finding somebody, I play tennis. So if I find somebody that plays tennis and I know that they have a daughter that is preschool age as well, I'll find a picture of her and her daughter or something, and I'll send her a message based off of that, or I'll comment on those things. I'll ask her questions about her family, about her daughter, and then it just starts to snowball. Hopefully they answer you, and then you can ask them more questions about what they do or what they're into, or and you kind of already know, because at least for me, I troll their page, and I check them out before I really start to build that relationship with that person, because a lot of times their page says a lot about who they are, and it's pretty clear to me, and I hate to say this, but I do judge, and I read their page, and if I don't really feel like we're going to mesh or that we're going to be a good match for each other, then I don't really put myself out there that way to them. But if I do, I really do want to get to know this person better. Like, I kind of am looking for my long lost soul sisters, So you're going to find that out and find out who these people are by really understanding who they are. What's the name of their kids? What are their kids into? Maybe your child is also working on something that their child is. So you ask them questions about that. And it doesn't have to be kids. I'm just using kids as an example because that's what works for me most of the time. Or maybe you just kind of find out, you start off with a simple question about something that you see. Maybe you love their outfit and you want to ask where they got it from. So you ask them that question, and then if they respond and you start talking to them, then you can ask them about their family, about what they do, or about things that they're into, what they like to do for fun. Just pick a different topic and start talking to them about it. That's it. So you find things that forming is basically the exact same thing. It's just finding things that you have in common and digging a little bit deeper into their life to uncover if you guys are, like, if you do have something to offer them that can help them, or if you just want to hang out with that person and have fun with them in a group. I also, like Jen, don't ever really just invite somebody in a way of, asking them about a challenge group because of weight loss. Because I too have had people say, you think that I need to lose weight? Well, no, that's not what I was saying. I was just wanting to see if you wanted to do this with me. So I try to really be careful about those words. But I have found that a lot of my clients that come to me from Instagram or Facebook, they already feel like they know me, and then I have already started talking to them because I'm commenting on their pictures. If you have a good tracking system that you're using and you know who it is that you've been trying to build a relationship with, then you can go back through and make sure that you're leaving comments on their pictures, that you are following along with what's going on in their life, that you are having conversations with these people, so that when it is time for you to do an invite for your challenge group, your free group, or coaching, whatever it might be, it doesn't feel weird or icky or pushy or salesy. We want to get those words out of your brain. And what the goal is with this is to make it so you feel so comfortable with that person that it's okay for you to ask that question. And not everybody's going to say yes. They may just generally not be into it, or they may really not have the money. And then that's when you can talk to them more about it and go from there. Handle those objections from there. That's like a whole nother conversation for another day. But, you really just want to focus on getting to know that person and using the family, occupation, recreation. You can really use anything. But if you don't know what to say and you don't know where to start, that's a really good place to start. So does anybody have any questions about forming or how to do that? I see a lot of other people in there. Hey, Katie. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Gabby. And Rose. All right. So if you guys don't have questions about forming, Sorry, we have date night tonight and we're getting phone calls about planning. I thought I'd turn that off. But anyway, so let's talk about Follow-Up Friday. One of the things that I love to do is, I already kind of mentioned it, is with your tracking system. So with tracking, it's when I am forming these people and I am talking to them, or maybe they have filled out one of my applications online, or maybe they've sent me an email, or we've just been messaging back and forth. I know who these people are that I'm messaging. Your message, what are you trying to get across? Like, that's when you actually ask them the question. You figure out who they are, and then you send out your message. And you ask them. So Friday, Follow-Up Friday is my follow-up day. It's fun for me to go through and do this. So today, one of the things that I did personally is I went back through and I went through my email list and you can do this different ways, you guys. Like if you use Teamsy, use your Teamsy app to do your follow-ups, but make it fun. Like go back through and read your notes that you wrote about these people. And I went back to people from like 2015 that I found in my inbox that I had, had kind of, our conversation had stopped. If you use Google Streak, it's a really awesome way to kind of keep track of your conversations. So I have one of the tabs in there that says like, okay, they've told me they're not interested anymore, or they're not interested right now. So I move them to a different tab. So then I go back into that file later, or into that tab later. Well, now it's been years later, just to check in with them. For me, that's fun to be like, hey, wow, it's so crazy that I haven't talked to you in this long. Now, most of the time, a lot of these girls I have, and I've done that on Facebook or on Instagram, but I haven't actually emailed them. So it just gives me another excuse to send them a message and like check in and see how they're doing. So I pay attention to what they were interested in. Were they interested in Shakeology? Were they interested in a free group? Were they interested in a sneak peek group? If they're interested in a sneak peek group, it's an awesome way for you just to go back and be like, hey girl, I came across your message today from X date, and I just wanted to check in with you and say, hey, see what's going on in your life, what's new. I checked out your page. I see that you have X, Y, and Z going on, would love to chat. So I'll start talking to them that way. Or if I have something coming up, like a new sneak peek or a new Shakeology group or challenge group or whatever it might be, and I have somebody that had shown interest in the past, I'll go back through, I'll send them that quick little message to say hi and say, I remember you said that you were interested in doing this, but that wasn't a really great time. Is now a better time for you? If it is, I have this going on. I'd love to chat with you about it. If not, great. I'd love to just catch up, see how you're doing, and go from there. It really is showing people that you want to talk to them. You want to talk to them about their life, about what's going on. Sometimes, let's be honest, you probably forget who some of these people are. And for me, the fun part is being like, who's that? Who's that girl? I don't remember who this chick is. Let me go check her out real quick. And I read my notes about her. I'll go look at her accounts, whether Instagram or Facebook, and see what they're up to. And then just kind of build that relationship again, or start building it back up, because there's different people that are at different places in different times of life. I'm a perfect example, is that Brandy's my coach, and Brandy literally asked me every single month for 12 months, and I told her no every single month because I didn't want any part of it. Why? Because it wasn't a good time for me personally. I had a miscarriage. My husband was in his final year of baseball, and we just had a lot of stuff going on and let's be real, I thought Shakeology was just another shake I could get at GNC. It was overpriced and not worth it. And I thought that it was a pyramid scheme, right? I guess we all kind of did. And I was totally into fitness. I loved Insanity. It was my jam, but I didn't think that I needed something like that because I already had Insanity. Didn't need a support group. I already did it by myself. So I just kind of followed along with Brandy, and I watched her. She's somebody I trusted. She's somebody I knew personally. I watched what it did for her family life. I watched what it did for their finances. I knew that it was a legit thing at this point, and she happened to hit me at the right time where everything in my life was a hot mess, and this was exactly what I needed. So I went with it and I ran with it, and it worked. So you can't ever be afraid of what somebody is going to say, I guess is my point. And following up with them until, I love this. I heard this once, and please excuse my French. They said, until they tell you to go the fuck away or fuck off, basically, is you keep following up with that person. You continue to invite them. You continue to add them. If you have an unsubscribe button, until they unsubscribe from you, you continue to put yourself out there and you continue to share with them what you're so passionate about and what you have to offer. You continue to put it in front of them because you never know when you're going to hit somebody at that exact right moment. And that exact right moment, I feel like everybody says that they're waiting for that perfect time when everything's going to be right. But what is that? What does that mean? There is no right, like seriously, I get the chills talking about this. There is no right time in your life. When Brandy hit me, it was the worst time in my life. Rock bottom, dude. Like bankrupt, house fire, postpartum depression, fat, ugly, not feeling good about myself, feeling lost, literally like on my knees praying to God for my way out. And she hit me at that point in time. We didn't have the money. We couldn't afford it, but I knew that it was the right thing to do. And the truth of it is, and we all know it, it's so cliche, but when people really feel like it's the right thing for them to do, they're going to do it. And those are going to be your best coaches. Those are going to be your best customers when they feel like it really is their time. I'm a huge proponent of, I will constantly keep showing up in someone's life, but I'm never going to make them feel like forced into doing something that they're not ready for. So, because otherwise what happens? They show up to your group and then they never show up to your group. So we really want people that are really ready to be helped and to show up in their life and to show them that you care about them. And that includes, constantly sending them emails, sending them messages to show them that you're not going anywhere, that you're not going away, that you really are going to be there to support them. You know their kids' names, you know their dog's name, you know what's going on in their life, you know what their goals are. And all of that is part of getting to know them. Now, I had one of my girls say today, uncovering this person's why in the invite process. Well, I happen to semi-disagree with that just a little bit because I hate small talk. I'm not a small talk girl at all. I'm the kind of person that when I meet you, I jump in and I want to know your why. I want to know what you want out of life. I want to know what sucks about your life. I want to know how I can help you fix it. I want to know what's amazing about your life and why we can be friends. Like, I want to know what you're into. But uncovering these things and getting people to trust you to say those things has a lot to do with how you communicate with them from the very, very beginning. And that means listening to them. It means asking them questions about themselves. Like, it means asking them questions about their family and their jobs and what they do and what they love to do and how they have fun, how they spend their time. And then they listen, use their words to show them that you're listening to them. You heard what they said. And then when it is time to actually just throw it out there, my best advice is keep it short. Don't try and convince someone in your proposal of why they should do this. Like, just ask them. And then when they say yes, great. If they say no, that's when you try and do a little bit of the convincing. Let them say yes or no. It's just your job to ask the question. And then you can handle the objections later. But get to know them, form them, do the following up, constantly keep asking them, and then get into that process. So I hope that I'm not like talking in circles and that this makes sense to everybody. Does it make sense? Like, are you guys understanding what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes I ramble. Just had a girl that you've been talking with for a year say I'm ready today. She thanked me. Yeah. So it's crazy, like I think about where my life would be if Brandy had just completely disappeared out of my life and, never stopped asking and, had not done what she was doing on social media and posting and sharing her journey. Because let me say this too. If she had continued to ask me, but she wasn't showing me herself on her social media journey, what she was doing and how this opportunity of Beachbody was changing her life, not just like from her working out every day. And I'll be honest, I got super annoyed, like real annoyed. I was like, dude, you're so freaking chipper and I'm tired of hearing about Shakeology and I'm tired of seeing pictures of you in your bikini, but damn girl, you look good. Like, I was happy for her. But I was definitely one of those people that I was like, if I get one more invite to another Shakeology group, I'm going to kill someone. But I paid attention because I liked her. I trusted her. I knew her, but she was there. She was in your face. She was showing you what she was doing every single day, but she was also showing me her beautiful babies. And she was also sharing with me what this was doing for her life and how her life was changing and how she was still being her. And that was super important too. And if she had not been doing that, I don't know if when it was that right time for me, if I would have trusted the opportunity. I don't know if I would have still been as ready and as gung-ho about getting involved, because I wouldn't have known if I really trusted it, if that makes sense, you know? So it's super important for you guys to be out there, for all of us to be out there to share how this opportunity has changed our life. And don't feel like you've shared it once so you can't share it again. It's constantly showing it in different ways and showing how, you know, you're the same person, but you've grown tremendously, and how you've grown and what it is that you're doing. It's what Jen said. It's, you can't ask somebody to buy a challenge pack if you're not showing them that you're also out there using our products on a daily basis, or at least on a 3 to 4 day a week basis. If you're not following a full program, you know, you have to be showing them how it's impacting your life, what you're doing with it in your life, because that also makes them trust you more when you do the invite. So it helps you not feel like it is, I don't know how else to say it, but you can't sell something you don't use yourself. You can't. I mean, it's just not for real anyway. It makes it a lot harder to get out there and try and sell something to somebody that you don't believe in yourself, that you're not using, that you're not really honestly feeling is changing your life, that's helping you. So it's so much easier to invite someone to something when you really feel like it's something that's helped you and you really have something to offer them. So I hope that helps. With the following up stuff, the best advice I can give you is, if you're not tracking, get on a tracking system, whether it's pen and paper, whether it's Teamsy, whether it's Google Streak, whether it is whatever you want to use. I know there's a lot of different tracking systems out there. Asana. Personally, I like the Google stuff because Google has like everything in one spot for me. And it's really easy for me to go back, and I have tabs that I know when I'm doing a coaching group, I can just go back and look at everybody that's ever shown interest in coaching and throw it out there to them again. And I go back through, I personally don't do invites every single day, but I will tell you that's because I am where I am now. In the beginning, I followed Brandy's daily business activity tracker religiously every single day. I literally wrote down what my income was that week. It's really fun for me now, 4 years later, to go back and look at where I was when I started and what my paycheck looked like when I was an Emerald coach, and to be able to see how far that I've grown and, you know, how far I've come, and to also remind myself of these things so that I can constantly be putting myself back in the shoes of being a challenger, being a brand new coach, being a Emerald coach, being a Diamond coach, and each step along the way to kind of see where I was, how many people I was inviting, how many conversations I was having. I was also writing the names of the people I was talking to on the back of these papers, and I kept them in a binder that's still upstairs. And I've since moved those over to like my tracking system, but I still go back and I look at those people that I talked to in 2013. And if they have not joined a challenge group with me, or they haven't become a coach, or they were on my dream team list in 2013, I'm still talking to those people to this day. And I'm like, what is your problem? But I continue to ask them over and over and over again. So definitely get tracking. It will help you with following up. I batch things now because I only work 3 days a week, but the 3 days a week that I work hard. And so I go through and I do most of my inviting and all of my like conversation starters. I do them in like groups of 50. I try to do 70 a week so that I know that these are the conversations that I can handle. And those are the conversations that are going to be progressing throughout the month. So set yourself, maybe if you're not a invite every day person, set yourself definitely an invitation goal and make sure that you're hitting that goal every single week. You're having that many conversations a day. And I hear all the time too, I don't know where to start. I don't know who to talk to. Who are these people that I'm going to start conversations with? Like you just said 70, that's a really high number. It is a high number, but if you think about it, if I was doing 7 to 10 a day, that's a lot. That's 70 people per week. So if you're doing 10 a day for 7 days a week, I choose to not work on the weekends and to not do work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, except for check-ins and messages, because like answering some messages, because that's my time with my kids. But, just set that goal for yourself and work towards that every single week. Do it daily or do it weekly, but just make sure you're hitting that goal. With the invite system, if you're not sure, I do really like Teamsy for this, you guys, because I know that when I needed to get back in the swing of the invite process, because I got away from it for a little bit, I signed up for Teamsy and I imported my Facebook friends list into Teamsy, and it would just pop up people for me. And I would be like, oh, I'm friends with that person. I don't know who that person is. So I would go to Facebook. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's totally cool. I would go to Facebook. I would check out who that person is. I would check my friendship. You can click on the little like dot, dot, dot and drop it down and it'll say see friendship. If you click on that button, it'll show you like the posts that you have in common. What posts have you commented on for this person? Or what posts has she commented on for you? What messages have you started? What groups are you in together? It'll show you your friendship with that person. If you have no friendship with that person and you've been friends with them since like the beginning of time, then you have two choices. You can either delete that person as a friend and make more room for more people, or reach out to them. That's a perfect way to shoot them a message and just start that conversation. If there's somebody that you want to be friends with for real, then, hey, I realized that we became friends back on this date, but we've never actually like chatted on posts or comments, and go through their page, troll their page. If you're friends with them, check out their pictures, check out their stuff, see what they're about. And then start that just start that forming process, start that conversation, and then, kind of set a guide for yourself, a timeline of when you feel like you'll feel ready to invite them. For me personally, I just kind of know in my heart when I feel ready. If they're the person that sends you you send them this big long, like, hey, how are you doing message, and they send you back a, hey, I'm good, how are you? That's like the most annoying thing. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, dude, I just asked you like 5 different questions. Or maybe you just ask them one and they don't answer your question. I hate that. It drives me crazy. But don't pull teeth. You shouldn't have to feel like you're pulling teeth with people. Just move on. You probably have a list of people that's this big. And if you don't, use Jen's advice and go to Instagram and make your list bigger. Get more people to talk to. But I definitely think that is super helpful with trying to just find new people to actually start those conversations with. There's so many ways that you can find people. There's, which is a whole nother like little live video in itself, which maybe one of the girls will cover, but you can go into groups and build relationships with people that have nothing to do with Beachbody at all. Use Jen's advice, do your list of 10 things and find your interests. Go find groups that are part of those interest lists. Build that relationship, form them, find out about their family, what they're into, what they do for a living. If you guys could be friends, what you have in common, and then just feel comfortable being able to talk to that person when you do have something coming up. Have that list of those people that you built the relationship with, and then jump on and shoot out those invites. It'll make it so much easier to invite with people and to follow up so that you don't feel like you're bugging them, because that's the other thing I hear all the time is, oh my gosh, they're going to think that I'm bugging them. Well, if you're bugging them, they will tell you. And if they don't, then keep on doing it. Keep on reaching out until they finally say yes or they tell you to go away. So hopefully this helped you guys. Was it helpful at all? I've been talking for about 30 minutes, I think. So do you guys have any questions for me or anything like that? Let me see what people said. Be a product of the product. Yes, so true. In the beginning, you'll do a lot for a little, but later you'll do a little for a lot. True. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you guys can understand the forming process a little bit more. I mean, I have some examples of forming. I guess I don't believe in scripts. I just don't think that they are. I really think that every single person you talk to is on a case-by-case basis. But and then there's different ways to form people in different stages of this process. But right now we're talking about inviting. So and not necessarily like doing that conversion. So when you do the conversion part, that is when you start talking to them about their, they want to join the group, or if somebody reaches out to you and says that they want to be a part of something, one of the first things that I ask them is, instead of just jumping right into, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you want to do this, my question to them, I always throw a question back and I say, I'm excited that you want to do this, but I would love to know why you want to do this. What do you think that, what are you expecting out of it, and what are you hoping to get out of it? Because I want to make sure that their expectations are on the same level as mine, and now I've asked them about their why. So the invitation itself comes first, and then finding out about the why when they say yes is later, or finding out the why and why they can't, and how you can flip that objection into why they can is a whole nother process in itself. But it all comes back down to asking those questions and really figuring out who they are, so that you can help them better. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense to everyone. But yeah, if you guys have other questions, just if you're asking me a question, please do me a favor. I'm about ready to log off for the afternoon. I have to go pick up my daughter from school at 1 o'clock. But what I ask for you to do is, if you have a question for me specifically, is make sure you tag my name in the comments so that I know to pop back in this group and check it out. I'll try and do my best to check in over the rest of the day. Here and there, I'll probably check in 1 or 2 more times, and I'll answer some questions, but then I'll be off for the weekend, and I'll be back on Monday to answer more questions for you guys. So hope this helped. Have a great Friday, and go do some follow-ups and some